𝗬𝗵𝗀 is a 15-day-old vulture chick and about to enjoy breakfast. But the grown-up feeding him is not a real vulture at all. It is a special puppet created to resemble an adult bird. The puppet master is Shannon Hoffman, who owns the bird of prey sanctuary in KwaZulu-Natal near Pietermaritzburg. The chicks she is raising are Southern Bearded Vulture chicks, a species that is on the brink of extinction, with only about 350 of the birds left in the wild. She has established an extraordinary breeding program to help save the species, and her life's journey has prepared her for this. In the early 2000s, Hoffman spent nearly 2 years in Dubai working with birds of prey. In 2006, she founded the Birds of Prey Sanctuary.
So many of the birds at the facility that I manage here are what we call non-releasable rehabilitation birds. So they've gone through a formal rehabilitation process, they've been injured in some way, and they just are no longer able to go back into the wild.
In 2012, an extremely rare rescued bearded vulture arrived at the facility.
The hope was to patch her up and send her back out into the wild. But she was put into a flight tunnel to check that she could fly and obviously to get her fit, but she walked it. She wasn't able to fly. So then a panel of people decided that she was not releasable, and then she ended up living here.
They called the bird Ledi, and she is the first ever Southern Bearded Vulture in captivity. Her arrival piqued Hoffman's interest in the bearded vulture. She became passionate about saving the species, and after joining the Bearded Vulture Task Force, a group consisting of several conservation organizations, she started the captive breeding project about 6 years ago. Sonia Kruger of KZN Wildlife is an ecologist and the coordinator of the Bearded Vulture Task Force. She says the birds are also known as lammergeiers or lamb eagles, and in the past, this has harmed the species.
So the main issue really is that they thought they were lamb catchers, because every time you saw a bearded vulture, it was sitting on a carcass, and of course people thought it had killed that animal. And they look more like eagles often than vultures. So often when people see a bearded vulture, they think it's killed that animal.
This has led to many birds being deliberately killed on sight. However, the main threat to the species that caused them to become critically endangered is poisoning. Hoffman's initiative entails establishing a genetically diverse population of bearded vultures in captivity and to then release their offspring into the wild. She also realized that Ledi would be key to the success of the program.
What makes her so special for this program?
She's actually pivotal to the whole program because she has become the surrogate parent for all the chicks that are raised here in captivity.
So she's like mother vulture, not mother hen?
Absolutely.
Oh, that's brilliant. And where do you usually find them in South Africa, though?
So they're in an isolated pocket, and the last remnant population is in the Drakensberg mountains. So it's Lesotho and 3 provinces of South Africa.
Hoffman's extraordinary approach to breeding the birds in captivity is closely aligned to the way in which they breed in the wild.
So the bearded vultures are an interesting species because, like eagles, they actually lay 2 eggs but only raise 1. And then the first chick hatches about a week, 6 days before the other one. So the first chick is naturally stronger than the second one, and they will outcompete each other, and only one survives.
Hoffman obtained permits to harvest the second egg from nests in the wild and raise the chicks in captivity. Harvesting of the extra eggs started in 2015. It is incredibly difficult to access the nests high up in the Drakensberg mountains, and Hoffman recruited experienced high-altitude climbers supported by helicopters. Often, the only way to get to the nests is to abseil down rock faces. Once an egg is harvested, it is kept warm in a special container and then transferred to a portable incubator. This is either picked up by helicopter or taken via mountain passes to the sanctuary.
When the eggs eventually arrive at the facility, what happens then?
So then we need to just complete that incubation period. So they're put into brooders, and then when they hatch, it's normally over, say, a 48-hour period if it's a normal hatch. And then from those brooders, they are then raised for the first 20 days in a heat-controlled environment.
In this environment, the chicks have limited contact with humans, and that is where the puppet comes in.
There are no parent birds in captivity, so what we've needed to do is the puppet becomes the interface between that chick and ourselves. If we raise the chick ourselves, then the bird is likely to believe that it is a human. And I'm putting it very simply, but it's called imprinting. And then that bird is not going to be valuable. It doesn't know it's a bird. It doesn't know how to breed. It doesn't know how to socialize.
The chicks grow rapidly, and their progress is monitored carefully. At 20 days of age, they are taken out of this heat-controlled environment and placed outside, where they can start to socialize with other chicks. But because they are hardwired to kill each other, they are kept at a distance so that they are able to see and interact, but are unable to harm each other.
And then we need a temporary parent, which becomes the puppet. And you obviously feeding and working the puppet when you're looking after the chicks. And they put in a rearing enclosure where they actually have access to 𝗬𝗬𝗧𝗐𝗍𝗍, which is the surrogate parent. So
and at that age, 𝗬𝗬𝗧𝗍𝗍 then doesn't want to kill them because obviously
no, she might.
They're not her chicks.
Yeah, they aren't her chicks. You're quite right. So she actually, there is a chance that she will kill them. So we still have to. So the interaction between the parent and the chick is just visual. So it's
so as long as they're seeing 𝗬𝗬𝗧𝗍𝗍, almost interacting with her and also seeing each other, that gives them a sort of natural environment in what they'd be used to if they were in a nest or living amongst other raptors.
That's exactly right, Mac. We're faking it, but we're faking it in the best possible way until we can make it.
The 6 chicks that hatch this year have to be weighed regularly.
What's her name?
𝗀𝗲𝗍𝗍𝗆.
𝗀𝗲𝗍𝗍.
She came from the Eastern Cape.
Oh, look at her.
Yeah.
Oh, look at her.
𝗀𝗲𝗍𝗍 is 30 days old.
Hello, Mama.
So I think what we're going to do is cover her up so we don't stress her too much.
With the chicks from previous harvests, 𝗏𝗵𝗶 now has a captive bred population of 13 birds. The offspring of these birds will be released back into the wild. The program is aptly called Bred for the Wild. Many people, including some conservationists, are skeptical about the prospects of success of an initiative such as this. However, in Europe, a program with the Northern Bearded Vulture has met with spectacular success. This program is run by the Vulture Conservation Foundation, which is a collaboration between 40 European organizations and has successfully reintroduced nearly 400 captive-bred bearded vultures back into the wild. And this is exactly what 𝗏𝗵𝗶 hopes to do. She wants to see the offspring of the chicks she and 𝗬𝗬𝗧𝗍𝗍 raised together one day soar wild and free in the sky above Southern Africa.